Alright, well, I'm starting up this little soup recipe, and right now in the pot I put about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and I got some diced up carrots. I used 4 large carrots, and then over here I have 1 full stalk of celery that I'm going to dice up rather small, and then I'll add it into there.
Well, it's me, and I just got in, and I came home to this lovely smell. We have the carrots in here, and now what's being added is
celery.
Yeah, there's tons of celery in this soup.
The
whole stalk. This was, just one small whole stalk, and as you can see, some of the tops are in there too. I don't know if you can see this. It's a little bit dark here, but some of the tops are in there as well. So far this is smelling really good. Now, we had gotten a really good deal on green peppers, red peppers.
It was
LaRue fancy red pepper. So we had used 2 of them when we made this soup before, and the other ones, and you see them over there in that bag, I cut them up and put them in the freezer so that they'd stay nice and fresh frozen, when we made this again. So that's the last of the celery going in.
No,
is there more? Oh, there's a little bit more. And then we'll show you what it's like after the peppers and green onions, right?
No, scallions.
Scallions, green onions.
I don't really know if there's a difference between green onions and scallions or not, but we can't find green onions, so we're using the green.
Scallion and green onion. Scallions and green onions, I think, are interchangeable. We also want to try something really nice. I love leeks. They're really good as well.
Do a search. And see if they're the same thing.
Okay.
Here we got our super small prep area, and we're doing the green onions, and we're going to also dice up 3 vine tomatoes. And we're going to add in the green or scallions or green onions into, no, I didn't use it yet, into the pot.
So let's recap. There was a little bit of oil in here, and in went the carrots, there's celery, red pepper, string beans or green beans, the green onions. I think you could also probably switch that out for leeks. And I think so far that's it.
No, the tomatoes.
Oh, and the tomatoes. That's right. We have some roughly chopped tomatoes in there. This actually looks like a beautiful mix.
I'm going to use the tomato puree.
Yeah, I think the original recipe called for sauce and then paste, but if you use puree, you kind of end up with the same thing. So we're just using store brand puree, 1 large can.
I don't know how many ounces it is, but
I think it's a 15-ounce. It's just the regular size like you would use for a pound of spaghetti. I had one that works better. Well, the can opener wasn't working too well. Okay, so here comes the puree. And then, yeah, we'll rinse the can and get all that good stuff out of there. This makes such a flavorful broth. I am not a big fan of vegetable soup, but I do love the broth in this. And of course, this is your soup, so if you wanted to put in some sausage or some hamburger meat, chicken, or if you wanted to add some pasta or rice, just make it how you want it. Usually when we first do a recipe, the first time we do it, I'll follow the directions pretty much. And then the second time, it's like, well, we can change things up, or we could use what we have hanging around the house,
It's already our spin on it.
Yeah, recipes are guidelines, and you can really, especially with the soup, take a lot of liberties with the original recipe. Baking, you have to be a little more precise, but with soups, it's almost like anything goes. And here comes the water.
29 ounces.
Is the water coming?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, beautiful. This is looking really good. And once the water is in here, I'm going to go ahead and make the heat higher on our stove on this particular burner. If you put it on low, you really almost have it on high. But it's the only larger burner for this size pot that we have. Okay. Now this, as you can see, this is almost a vegetable stew and not a soup. But the tomatoes do cook down and some moisture comes out of that. Yeah, it does get a little thinner. It's really, really good. Really good. I'm sorry, I'm holding the camera all crazy. Doesn't that look good? That looks beautiful. So, what's left to do is the spices. Okay, so what is going in now, which was not in the original recipe, is a bunch of kale. Now this kale, it's coming out of a Ziploc bag because it was in the freezer frozen, which is because we got a really good buy on like a ton of kale. That can go in the garbage. That can go in the garbage. No, I'm not going to use that one again. So, we've had kale in soup before. Oh yeah, that's really frozen, but as you can see, yeah, that's going to break up pretty quickly. You want to do that because I don't want to spill it. There you go. That's a very nice addition. And if this soup is too thick, just add more water. You could also, if you don't want kale, use spinach instead.
I don't have to use the kale. I just put the kale in because
we had it, yeah, and it's been in there a while. I forget what we used it for to begin with.
Other soups.
Yeah. And I freeze a lot of stuff. And aren't you glad I did? Because by now that kale would have been like all mushy and we wouldn't be able to use it. So, if anybody's wondering, kale freezes great. What I did is I put it in a Ziploc bag, then I squished it down to get all the air out, and it's been in there about 2 weeks, I guess.
Pretty much disappears anyway. So.
Yeah, kale really, it cooks down very, very small.
Like spinach, you put a big blob of spinach.
Yeah, and you get nothing out of it. Yeah.
With pasta, and yeah, you got it piled up, and then.
Yeah, and let me show you the spices that are going to be used. The first thing. Mustard goes into this.
That's a special mustard I just picked up. I thought you didn't want to try.
Yeah, we've never, let me put it under the light. We've never tried this brand or this type of mustard before. Last time all we had was some like brown spicy mustard, so we threw a spoonful of that in. I'm really surprised. You don't taste the mustard when the soup is done. Also what's going to go in is a bit of chili powder and some paprika.
Cumin.
And cumin, which I don't have over here, and the husband's secret.
Go-go churro.
Go-go churro pepper
Korean
powder?
hot pepper flakes.
Korean hot pepper flakes. Now,
not powder.
I did not think that with all these spices in there that I would like this soup at all, but the broth comes out delicious. Really delicious. This is a very strange combination if you were just telling me about it.
And the other secret ingredient is...
Oh, a secret ingredient.
We'll plug the name
We're going to have a secret ingredient.
The name brands, but I love...
Oh, okay. Yes. Original recipe called for low sodium chicken broth. Since we don't have low sodium chicken broth, we're just putting in one
packet, which is supposed to make 2 cups of broth.
Of these packs.
Which is enough, actually. It turns out to be enough.
It gives it that little bit of salty taste that you really need. Okay, so these are the spices that we're going to add. We have 2 teaspoons of paprika, one of my favorite spices, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and 1 teaspoon of chili powder. We're also going to add some ground black pepper, and this is the mustard that we bought. Stone ground, is that the name of it?
It's a stone ground.
Stone ground mustard. It's grainy. It smells like regular spicy mustard. Oh, it's got honey in it.
And beer. Stout.
Really? And beer. Okay, well, that should make it taste very interesting. But anyway, when the soup is all nice and heated, we're going to add these. And then after a while as the soup is cooking. If you need to adjust the flavors, you can always go ahead and do that.
Okay, we're adding in the spices now. That's the cumin, the chili powder. Oh, shake it in there. And go in there. And scoop out all the mustard.
That was 2 tablespoons.
Now, I gotta get my gobachuro. Gonna mix that in.
Well, this looks just beautiful. I mean, it's a very pretty looking soup, as well as being tasty. Because this is nowhere near hot enough to eat. And look at the amount of soup
It's gotta cook
that you're
for a
going to
while.
get. Yeah.
Well, 1 day worth.
Okay, so pepper to taste.
Here. Okay, the brown pepper.
Yeah.
Right.
I never get this open because
I'm opening it on the wrong side.
oh well, I guess that would.
Stop! Don't poke it.
I got it.
Is there anything in there?
Oh yeah, look at it all coming out. And we can always add more. It's better to not add too much, and then you're sort of stuck with the flavor. You can always add more later.
Here, hold this.
Okay, now he's going to get the Korean hot pepper.
And it's really not that hot.
No, I was surprised because I don't particularly like really hot food. That's a third. Or, no, that's a quarter. This is a quarter cup. Quarter cup. That's what we want.
Yeah.
And you sent away for this, right?
Yeah.
You can find it sometimes in Oriental stores. We don't happen to have one close
by. Well, if you're
by.
in the northeast of New Jersey, you could probably find it in Korean stores.
Yeah, we're sort of central South Jersey, and there's just no really good Oriental stores that we know of in this area.
Stores, but
And
that's it.
there it goes.
That's
Now, usually we use this
really
to make kimchi.
I make my homemade kimchi.
Yeah.
But I haven't made it in a while. But apparently it's too salty.
Well, aren't you supposed to rinse the salt off the leaves after you salt
Well,
them?
you do rinse it, but still a lot of salt.
Okay, there we go. Now this just has to heat and, like every other soup, come to a boil and then simmer until the vegetables are tender or as soft as you like them.
Actually, when you do that, you use the Napa cabbage.
Oh, for the kimchi, yeah. Napa cabbage, some
put the
fish
salt
oil.
on it actually helps soften up the kimchi, and it also extracts the water from it, even though it's soaking.
So there you have it. In about 20 minutes or so, it hopefully will come to a boil. This is a lot of soup to heat up. And then we'll let it go for about 10 minutes until the carrots get a little soft because they're the hardest vegetable in here. And this will be something good for supper. Well, here's the soup. It's all done now. And as you can, well, maybe you can't see. It's kind of dark in here. These are, oh, hang on a second. Okay. 2 very large bowls of soup. This will feed a lot of people, and it does keep in the refrigerator. You can see it's still steaming. This is going to take a while to cool off. It will keep in the refrigerator for several days. Just make sure it's in a nice tight bowl, and of course, like everything else, let it come to almost room temperature before it gets put into the refrigerator. This is steaming. This is going to take a while. This turned out a lot spicier than the last batch because somebody...
I don't think I put as much gobachuro.
Yeah, I think last time there was only like 1 little spoonful, and this time there was a 1/4 cup of that hot stuff. I wouldn't mind a little of this mixed in with some rice, but by itself it's a little too spicy for me. But it is an interesting soup, and it is very good. So if you want to do something like this... Let's see. Look at how nice and thick that is. Yeah, that would be great. I would like a little bit of it over either rice or noodles.
Yeah, yeah.
So you don't even have to have it as a complete soup. You could have, put it over some kind of carb. So, but there it is. Give it a try. It's a delicious soup, just a little too spicy for me. God bless you.